That's to some degree. So I think we spent, am I right? I can't read my headings here. We're $2,552 for the month. Is that what we spent for the month? Month to date?
30, are you reading that under section,
Yeah,
30,359?
yeah. What did we spend in May? Month. In May, we spent 2,552. Anyhow, we're at 81%, and I think it was front end loaded. This is the big issue there. Building maintenance, another one, we've already shot our wad there. We're over budget. We budgeted $10,000 and we spent 32, we spent 21 in May. That was the AC and the roof. The roof. How about the roof? Yeah. So we had two major expenses. We had to repair the roof. We had leaks. That Duralast roof, it was primarily fascia or, you know what you call that? The parapet, and then, the AC on the old building went out. Truck repairs, were over on that as well. I think they had a bunch of tires to buy and other,
Just getting all the service and stuff done, so that should start going down.
contracts and services, 59%. Does that include price falling for one? Right?
That's our first new water, all water program that we use on the fire side.
Okay. Were those the monthly expenses or are they paid annually?
Software.
Yeah. it's not good.
Okay. And then other services, I don't know what all went into that, but we're 71% of a $2,000 budget. But in total, if you go down to the bottom line that I highlighted there, we're 42%. So we're just running slightly ahead in total of budget. Any questions on the fire budget? Okay, then. Yeah,
I just kind of started taking interest coming in meeting. Does this department serve half of Green Township?
correct.
Well, we don't, not any of their buildings, all we do is we're contracted to do their firefighting. That we, this expense.
Okay.
Well,
Other than fuel.
well, they share it. They,
My curiosity question was, what money comes in from that?
$300,000 a year, approximately, it's a little over that.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah, we basically, when we established that rate, it was a ratio of our expenses divided by the total number of calls and what their percentage of the calls. So that's kind of how we arrived at their share, and we review that every year. So, in a sense, they are contributing to the income and, well, and the expense that we're running over there and so on. But that's how the contract is.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Greens are 300,000.
306,000, and that's paid twice a year. Human fund, we're at 14%. We could be at 41.6. So, we have $150,000 budget and we've spent 21,000 and changed so far this year. And so that's the end of the budget. Any other questions on the budget? The next page is the bank ledger, and it shows you the balances Yeah, you were there. That one.
Okay.
That one shows you what, cash we have in each of the accounts. And that's, where we're gonna be doing additional appropriations tonight. To spend, we gotta get approval to spend some of that money. Any other questions on the financials? The next item on the agenda is the 2026 budget. We need to set a date. Pick a date with them. Doris has already got hers done. Yeah, well, she was gone she was in Disneyland,
Other than that.
Disney World. So anyhow, we need to. That'll be I don't know when we gotta have it done. We can't even put it in Gateway now, according to her, but she's got hers all penciled. Any other business?
Budget software. They provide a way to take stuff from this year and start your budget. Makes it easier.
Kind of like my spreadsheet. I still use my spreadsheet.
Except it's got all the individual items that match these items.
Yeah, my spreadsheet, yeah.
You combine them for those.
Okay, yeah. Okay, old business. What's the status of the new to us truck?
Uh,
To get the plate in and all that?
they sent the wrong plate, so I'm waiting on the new one to come in, but the shifts are using it. It doesn't get used every day, but there are some shifts using it. But yeah, they sent the wrong plate for the mounting brand. They sent us one for a Jeep.
So that's to mount the radios or something?
Yeah, the piece that they sent wrong was the one that's mounted in the floor, and then the pipes comes off of that holds everything that holds the computer. It's got the radios and everything in it, so it's usable. I said somebody should just didn't have the computer for the tie sheet for his run that was
The MVP.
correct.
The union contract, yes,
It's gonna be the tie. It's gonna be designated. Yeah,
union contract, we were ready to meet, but, when Cody was farming, or I don't know what he was doing, but, so we still haven't officially finished that. Feasibility study, we went ahead and signed that at the last meeting, and, he's reached out to me when we're available to meet, we need to come up with a committee representing us. And I think, we can talk about that. Obviously Judy should be on it, and the chief, and then a couple others representing the firemen. Surplus equipment status, the chief's truck, we decided at the last meeting to go ahead and buy that and pay $7,975 for portage, and I believe that's included in the May financial statement, so that's been paid for. And then for the Tahoe, we're keeping that, and the engine 41, what's the story on?
so I got same day, I got two inquiries. I messaged them back to answer their questions, but they asked me to have any information back from them.
So
One department was out of Nebraska and one was out of Illinois.
so we price reduced it once or twice, right?
Yeah, we started out at 269, we're down to 175.
And we've had numerous people come look at it, and
No bites on it.
okay, the next thing is the Clay Penn Center territory status. We did sign a resolution at the last meeting that we would continue, we are interested, we'd continue discussions and so on. I talked to Doris this afternoon. she seems to be the one driving the ship on this. And, I said, is it still moving forward? She said, yes. The issue is, I believe the tax rate has to be 45 cents or 40 cents, one of the two, or less, or, and so the budget, the pro forma budget is being reworked to satisfy that. But the initial budget that they presented, pro forma budget, you know, just for discussion purposes, was 47 cents, I believe, or
Yeah.
48, somewhere in there.
Except 48.
So this is kind of as a result of Senate Bill 1 and projections on the reduced funding we're going to be getting from the state. But so in summary, it's still moving forward, and Dora seems to be the lead person on it. The capital needs addition, I think we have that for the attachment. So I'd like to, go through that a little bit, have a discussion. The first item is a striker local CPR device. I want to know if any of these are going to be affected by a potential of a territory creation, joining the territory. Anything that we're going to spend here, that I doubt whether that would have an impact on our decision on that particular
That
item.
device, I believe all the ambulances in the county are carrying this now. And then,
Well, but
and then Clay carries those on the battalion trucks. Some of the departments are carrying on that.
so it'd be, for us, it would be, and what, the battalion,
But we'd have to decide on that. It could either be a go.
but it'd be compatible with what everybody else has.
Yeah,
So, is that the hard price?
no, that was a book price I looked at. The guy had got back with me with the actual estimate or
So I think we should go ahead and agree, we should go ahead and get hard prices on this stuff.
okay.
I don't know, the requirement for having two bids. Is it $5,000? 50? Well, okay, there's nobody else that makes something like this?
There's a couple other models of brands out there, but like I said, everybody in the county uses correctly.
Okay,
But that
Well-
was compatible for parts and maintenance and
the Reeves flexible lifting device. That wouldn't be dependent on what anybody else is doing, correct?
no, that was just the recommendation for here.
And is that a hard price?
No, that was again a book price. I get a quote on everything.
And the VVAC suction device, that's minuscule. EMS brush fire gear. Is that the light duty?
Yeah, the light duty jacket and fans. That was high. I got it at 1,200. What did he give us one price, Amy?
Ballpark 15.
15?
Yeah, so we sit down and actually go through under letters and everything, record. I just told them to rough the boards.
Okay. So that was a rough quote that we got.
Yeah, they rough quoted.
Yeah,
So today you're using, turn that gear or nothing.
our fire gear or these clothes here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think we're gonna, what we're leading up to is tell you to go ahead and
Stick quotes on
all
everything.
this,
Okay.
particularly that one, since it's.
Yeah.
Super back battery powered fan, same. Just go, well, I don't know, we need to go through all these.
I'll get,
Other than there's something that we might not want to do or do differently if we've gotten a territory.
right.
So go ahead and get hard quotes.
Okay.
Um. Now that takes us down to the radios. You were wanting to buy 4 sets per year, so we ought to get started on that. It's,
The radio sitting on the table is the one that was sent to us to look at and try. That's a Kenwood.
yeah. 80 megahertz, yeah.
Found a lot of stuff in this to play the penalty matches. That's why we're trying to come up to their level.
Okay, good.
So the radio on the table is the one that the price here is about $5,000.
That chartreuse one,
Yes, if you buy a Motorola, approximately the same style, is about over 13,000 feet.
and this what Penn uses?
Do you know what Penn and Clay?
Apparently, everybody's the one that we all have here. And Clay, but see, Ben and Clay, they have enough radios for the guys, you know, you have 5 radios to be sure.
And that's the radio. So they're very similar. It's about a $10,000 price difference. And
Oh, that's-
that $1,000, in my opinion, is the Motorola thing.
Is it worth it?
So Andy, are you saying we just have enough for one shift and then they just leave them here after? And they go shift?
So when the county got the radio cut some years ago, the total said we don't need that many radios. So we go to Fed and Clay, all their officers have on the radio, the radios are gonna see the trail, we've got radios that are gonna be smart. We,
Well, the issue we have is if we backfill, none of the firefighters on the engine have a portable range.
no, so like that radio right there, that's mine, too late, but when I come in on recalls or anything, I grab that, because I know there's probably not a radio here for us.
So we have just enough to man the crew that's on duty for the days. So we can backfill.
So how many would it take to be one for every guy?
I mean, ideally, that's what you do. That's what we, before we went to 800 back in the territory formed, everybody had their own personal radio for full time, their responsibility. If they damaged it in any way or manner other than being at a fire, they were responsible. So when we went to 800, Corporal didn't want that, so we went to the bare minimum number of radios we have.
And what do you do for an on-call? Everybody has their own, if somebody takes theirs and they're gone.
That would be part of that budget. You'd have a van have, say, 6 extra radios here at all times.
Yeah, you have a radio over super right?
So it looks like you need about 20.
At least 16. And then, what, yeah, 20, now you got 4 here for the on-calls, they come in the backfill.
Okay,
But do we want to fall under the same thing when we bought all the trucks at one time and then they all go back at the same time? So would it be better not to just buy 20 and then have them all die and have to buy all 20, you know?
again,
You know,
we'll never get to everybody having their own then.
and do you know if we would eventually current manufacturer? You send them in, do you know, like Motorola, I believe, you send a Motorola radio and they'll fix it, right?
Yeah, Kenwood does the same thing.
Yeah, if it can be fixed, they'll fix it.
Yeah, until they're obsolete, they'll still fix it. But once they're obsolete, they're obsolete.
So what is the group prefer?
So the radio and the strap, that's what everybody in the county has, because that was part of the county-wide
This one,
radio grant, yeah. That's what every department of the county turned to use, because that was part of that county-wide grant 10 years ago.
okay. So, you,
Is there possibly a way with that? But you say that radio is like 12 grand versus 5 grand?
Yes. Yeah, South Bend just went to brand new Motorola, so they went to the, obviously, top grades, they're like 15.5 apiece. And they buy one for every seat in the truck, so. They 11 engines, 4 seats, and that's 44 radios.
so each guy doesn't have their own,
No,
just
no,
stays with the truck.
it's stays with the truck. But if you did that here, you'd still have the same amount, about 20. Counting to fill the seats.
And those are 15 grand a piece.
Yeah, and that, new one there, that one's running about 5,000.
Is there a refurbished market?
I mean, they get pretty beat up here.
Yeah, no, I,
You can replace parts, but eventually the innards of them are strong.
And then the state. I don't know if it's the state or the federal government, but every couple of years, they're changing their output or whatever the radios, so, you had to be P25 compatible, and then there's another upgrade. And part of our radios won't make the next upgrade. They're old enough that. And what they'll do is they can actually shut them off. You won't be able to.
Aren't there some issues with batteries too on these Motorola's now, or are they,
I've got some batteries, somebody said something about batteries, I know.
Because everybody has, everybody's trying to get batteries.
How many radios do we actually have right now?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think 10. Chiefs, the 3 battalions on their own, and then 4 for the engine, 1 spare, 2 spares, plus that 1 with Arlen ring.
But the price is a big factor, I understand. Are these locally sold and serviced? Both brands?
The Motorola dealers out of Elkhart and the Kenwood dealers out of Kansas City. So they're fairly close.
So if anything happens, you'd have to send it. Obviously, out of town.
Right. Either one of them, yeah.
would you be happy with 16 new ones of these, the Kenwoods? And then get on a rotation of replacing them with Motorola's? Every year, buy 5 new ones or something, and we,
Run that by me again.
well, if we were gonna buy all 16 or whatever, would that,
Yeah, we've been careful with that one because it's not ours, so we haven't ordered a fire. We haven't really tried to beat the crap out of it. Not on purpose, but like, normal use because it's not ours. So we've been carrying around dumpster balls around builders now. If you look at that one, there's one that's in strap in front of you, seems wear tear on them, so we just didn't break that one.
okay, if it was yours and you were buying it, which would you guys buy?
Either one, I mean, they both have their quirks, obviously, you know, Motorola's a lot lighter than Kenwood, but the same token, Kenwood's half the price.
Does it come with the carrying kit?
Carrier kits are all around $500.
What do you? Well, I think we can afford either.
I mean, we have to do something because it, like you said, if the state doesn't update, we're gonna lose a bunch of them. All it does is for them to go through the updates, and these aren't compatible anymore, those ready to shut up.
So that, so
Yeah, they can literally shut them off. They won't be able to use it.
you're done by your G group.
Yeah, I had that, we had 10 that were old school 800s and first generation, and the state did updates, so these all junk, they don't work even word. I've been down 10 radios like that.
I'm looking for somebody to tell me, one of you guys to say which ones we should go with.
And get hard prices for both. That way we know exactly where apples that way.
Okay,
If you go, if you spend on the cheaper radio right now, with the intent of buying nicer $5 ones slowly, that would be fine, that's a pretty good number out there. But like I said, we haven't really put that new one to the test yet, in the fire and stuff like that, so we know the Motorola's work. We haven't really done that with the Kenwood because it's not ours to try.
We buy one for you to go through.
Well, that's I said, if you buy one or two and put them in rotation, then you'll know for sure. But like I said, with us just borrowing that, we all of them break it and beat the crap out of it.
Oh. Would you know within the next couple of months,
Oh,
really?
yes. I
Okay,
mean, the first
Well,
time.
that makes sense.
No,
I'll get hard prices and then,
4 or 5 of them, and
okay.
yeah, you'll know once you wear it out and you give them the flyers, but it's fun.
okay, so we're gonna test 4 or 5 of them and make the decision after we get some feedback on whether to buy the Motorola's or the Kenwoods. Turnout gear. Uh, so how many,
About 3 down there.
Yeah, we just bought 3.
how many more you need? When you're talking about trying to get in a rotation and by,
Right, so we could start measuring guys now, because it takes 3 to 4 months to build them.
Yeah, depending on your back, it's 3 months time.
So, yeah, we should start going through the gear and see what needs replaced, and then we can
go ahead and,
get ready for next year.
go ahead and implement rotation then.
And did they, well, I think they get it too.
I had one to add, the, security system. And I understand you do have one quote already.
And we do have one quote. And this came in just this afternoon from ADT. We had ADT and Promar come out yesterday. And is it Promar? Or Permar? Promar is a paint. Permar came out in the afternoon, ADT came out in the morning. So Tom Sierra put together this quote. This is for essentially 8 cameras. So we'd get, where's it at? There. Sorry, I'm just seeing this kind of sort of for the first time here too. I just looked at it real quick. So essentially what he was recommending was 8 cameras. So you'd have 2 on each corner that would catch 90 degrees. Those would be 4K cameras, which is better than 1080p, but it's not. The 4K, actually, the receiver's 4K. I misspoke about they're 2K cameras, I believe. Where the hell is it? Looking here, it is. See where those 8 are. We got the Cat 5. Oh, there they are. 4 megapixel. I'm sorry, I'm misspeaking. It's a 4 megapixel, which is better than a 1080p, but it's not 4K. We don't need 4K. But it's better than 1080p. We'd get 8 of the 4 megapixel, what they call bullet cameras. Those would be hardwired to a recording system, basically. And that is, he's recommending the larger system in case we decided to upgrade to internal cameras and everything else, so that the idea is that we would get a larger recording system with more memory and more capability to add cameras.
4,816.
Or 816, right? And I think he's recommending the 16.
Because if we only bought an 8 we had 8 cameras, if you decided, oh, I need another camera, looking inside, you go, boom.
Yeah.
No place to plug it in.
Exactly. And so he's recommending the 16 with the 4 megapixel. The box would then be located in the report room in there. And you would have remote access. So if anybody was home, anybody who had access to it wanted to be able to view it from home, they could. There's another, Permar came out, didn't have it, I guess he didn't have a chance to send a quote yet, so I don't have any numbers. It's a slightly different system. He's recommending, instead of 8 cameras, 4 cameras centrally located in the middle of each wall with 180. Yeah. And that's all, you'd still have the video recording system, all that stuff in there would be plugged in, but that all the storage is in the cloud. And I think he's recommending like 4 terabytes or something of storage, which would be about a month's worth of storage.
ADT was recommending 8 terabytes.
There, 8 terabytes, right? And of course, you got twice as many cameras on that too. So, it'll be interesting to see what that difference is. But by the time just for this purposes of this quote, the 8 cameras and all that lovely stuff, we're looking at, without taxes, you're looking at about $4,290 for the install, and then $169 for the service on it, because there'd be a monthly service. Well, let's see, the plan subtotal, it's, 66.65 per month.
Our $52 that we now pay for the door locks that.
They would be, yeah, it's a completely different system, right? Yeah, because the cameras don't have microphone or speakers
I
on.
know, but they would still be part of the bill.
It would be, yeah, it'd be part of the bill, so you'd have that 66.65 per month. And then the 42.50 for the install.
That includes the equipment, the install.
That's the install. Now, they are taking out some discounts here. Equipment installation, they're giving us a $750 credit toward that. Because it's actually a $5,000 install. But they're giving us a $750 credit if we pull our own Ethernet cable. So they'd bring the cable in, just like we did with the doors. So the bottom line is they're gonna charge us about $750 to go ahead and do the full install. We can save $750 if we, and that's, I don't know that, I mean, that's up to you guys, up to you guys. But we did that with the doors. We ran our own Ethernet and stuff, but we don't have to. So it'd be a $750, the price that was quoted included a $750 discount.
And that was 5,000.
It was 5,000 with the full install,
Yeah.
42.50 without.
Okay. Well, again, I guess once you get the quote from Permar and what you guys are the techies, so again, the storage would only be a month.
50 days of storage.
Yeah.
And then with cycle off.
The one thing I don't know, Keith, and maybe you got it out of Tom from ADT when he was here, the difference, I thought it was a difference with them and Permar is that Permar is, the cameras are always on, but they don't start saving recordings until there's motion, which means you're not eating up your storage. Just look at,
Or like that.
Permar. But I think ADT's gotta be doing that. Yeah, I would think ADT be doing that too. But I just didn't hear him say.
At any point, you could look at a camera and see what was in its.
Yeah, you can see.
Any motion.
Right, you can watch a live camera. It's just, it won't record unless somebody
But
moves.
there's really.
But would a bird trip it off?
A bird could, I suppose.
What's that?
A
A
bird.
bird. Depends on how you set
Birds go pretty fast. I don't know if they
I
can
think he
pick
said,
it up.
set a sensitivity,
Yeah.
like cars going by the front, he said they can adjust it, so. you
Yeah.
punch in every car.
You can set it. I know my Nest doorbell will pick up a freaking, we got a spider that will build right by that thing. And there's a daylight out.
I had a Nest camera at home. I had to create a view, tell
Yeah.
me, ignore cars outside this view.
Yeah. Yep.
So it didn't pick up every car that was across the street.
Yeah. So this is a good benchmark to start with. I'm interested. I'm kind of anxious to see what Permar comes in. Oh, the other, and I'll shut up after this. The install, if you remember, Permar yesterday said that they're backed up to August.
You mean ADT?
No, Permar.
Oh, I went here.
You weren't here for Permar? You were here. You heard him say that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, earliest was August. ADT, I asked him today when I talked to him about this, he said they could probably do it between 2 and 3 weeks. So July, early July as opposed to sometime in August. Okay, so that's gonna consider.
The cameras would set, what do you say, 12 feet up?
I think so, about 12 feet.
Height, that they would all be. That would maybe in back where that, storage container is. They might go up higher so they can see over.
Down. Yeah,
Is there enough light all the way around the building for?
they seem to, well, they're infrared, so if you don't have enough light, the infrared kicks in.
Yeah, because on this side, there's only that one
Yeah,
light, and then he was talking. Does the light on the pole, are those always working?
What's that?
The lights that are on the pole out there, is that always working?
Yeah. They said if you have light, it'll be a lot clearer picture.
Lights.
there's plenty of light on that.
There's plenty of light over here.
Okay,
So, sorry to drag that out, but yeah.
what we want to know. I'm gonna jump over removing the carpets and replace with hardwood.
Have you had security issues at the station?
We recently had one, yes.
Okay.
Well, with relation to
The state
Yes, I agree.
thing.
threat,
Well, that's right, but.
we didn't have an intrusion or anything, but we had a threat. And you think about it, in this day and age, we're vulnerable.
I think it's been in the back of everybody's minds for quite a while. It's
Yeah.
just suddenly the impetus to actually start getting quotes and things was precipitated by some things that transpired here in the last few weeks. How's that for cryptic messaging?
A lot of money to spend,
Very true.
Yeah,
but can't put a price on security if that's the issue, if that's a huge issue.
I don't know that it would make much of a difference with Capstone or not, but I don't know if you put a full security system like that in with the door locks, if there's some discount that might come.
Possibility, I don't remember there's.
Don't know if enough to justify it, but it might be something.
Obviously, answer no, but it'd be something to ask him, like,
Are we looking for the switch
You're
here?
just fine. It's just a threat that you said towards somebody, or was it a personal threat towards a?
well,
There was a person.
pardon?
The security issue that you had, is it a personal threat to someone, or was it, did somebody say, I'm gonna blow you guys up, or,
Yeah,
okay,
Something to that effect, yeah.
okay. But that could be said for the fire scene as well. So they could do that same thing on the fire scene that they were threatening you to do here. I'm just saying,
yeah,
how far is your protection and cost gonna go?
of course, the cameras aren't been.
That's not
Because
It's not got to do with
sleeping here and stuff like that.
We've got people having it on our ship at midnight.
doing what?
they're done what?
There's doors up.
Because you got a gas station right next door and down the door.
So
You have got your multiple times.
Yeah.
somebody had to let them in.
We're saying, that comes to the door of the gas station, I see that door opens there.
Well, so it's the best out next door. We're working on them and they haven't done it. It's southwest.
We're thinking about putting cameras, we were thinking about putting cameras in the trucks, but we don't have enough ethernet cable for that.
And money that's gonna be spent, but that's.
Well-
Cause that threat presents itself to any of us, any place, anytime. Unless it's specific to a specific person, a specific, entity, fire department, they don't want to fire department, that kind of. By all means, put the system in.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm chiming in here, but I think partly is it just brought it top of mind. This is not specifically to avoid this specific threat, or as you say, it could be done on the fire scene. It could be done in an accident or any place. Yeah, there's no control over that. We can control this perimeter, and this is where we're at most of the time.
What's that security system? Is that security system going to alert the police? Are they gonna have access to it 24/7? Because if no one's monitoring, having video is gonna help you at all, other than it tells you.
Are they
that
monitored?
guy, that guy, and
I mean,
that-
Yeah, it's a valid point. This is not, that's a very valid point
Well, my son has the Permar system.
with the monitor. No, sorry.
He's got cameras and whatever, and if there's somebody trying to get in the door or trying to do something, Permar gets notified and they dispatch. They call me or they call, so you get no response, they send the cops.
Well,
Chris, in this quote, there's a $180 a month monitoring fee included that.
I think that was right here. No. Where are you looking at? There is a monitoring fee, and if I recall correctly, he was very specific about what the monitoring fee meant. That's a system health monitor, which is basically
Tells you if the
just tells you if the cameras are working. And then they know whether or not to come out and fix it. It's like a service agreement is what it does. And it monitors the health. It's a monitor of the health of the system. This quote does not include physical monitoring, to your point.
Well, that's the whole idea. That's what I'm working.
Valid point.
So if you can't mitigate the problem because you don't know what the problem is.
All you got is
It
after the
doesn't
fact.
do anything other than let you see it later and say, oh, that guy shot that guy. You gotta stamp that guy. And you know, you may have, you may be able to identify it, but there's no mitigation. So do you take another step further? You put it into a context of, all right, if we do have something going on that's real bad, and these guys are doing something outside, they're working a patient in the driveway because they just drove in, whatever. They're not, they've even admitted, they're not paying attention to their surroundings. They're doing what they have to do. So I'm all for security, I'm not against that, but do we have enough security? Is it doing what we really?
Why spend that money to get that far
Get that far?
without, yeah,
Not
I get it.
anyway.
Like the school enforcement, they have broken glass, police get called automatic on their system.
A lot of the other stations are never up to date, but obviously this is one of the oldest buildings in the county. No public can walk in the first doorway, like a school, and there's no open area with their intercom system, so they can talk to somebody in the building. We don't have that capability. We're either yelling through the door, or we have to open our actual talk. So that's twice, the 2 times we had somebody coming in with a knife, it was somebody pounding the door at midnight, a female, we opened the door, they run in the street, help, when they had the knife.
And they have what?
And then the other time, we get somebody calling at 1 o'clock in the morning, because somebody's passed out at the gas station, who's got a gun. So, I mean, the gas station, yeah, the 2 people that came to the building, they're pounding the door in the middle of the night screaming help, so you open the door, trying to communicate with them, and they're running in. But we've also had it here before, where we've had people come running up because they're jumping on vehicles, because they're in the process of being kidnapped. So, I mean, at one point in time, we've been out of the door. So that's the problem we have now, is we're in a building that was built for volunteers back in the 60s. And we're running a modern day 2025 full-time department, I'm trying to help people.
But if you don't have checks and balances, all I'm saying, okay, maybe you need to put a vestibule in out here.
That's what I'm saying.
But
I mean,
maybe that's
yeah,
something.
that's just it. They won't
That's
time to
that's a
stop,
big concern.
to stop paying.
Then put that somewhere. Look at where.
Maybe we should
I'm not
close up
against that, but look at this thing.
that door.
And what's next?
Yeah,
What you can.
and that's where we're supposed to.
Okay,
Well, that's, this,
It's kind of like the last one, you can stop or.
I think,
And that's what I'm saying, when you're saying, you know, what's the difference on a fire scene? Well, on a fire scene, we're aware of our surroundings, or waiting, whatever. We're sleeping here in the middle of the night, you got something down on the door. I see what you're saying. Right.
maybe you need that.
Or even the exterior.
Yeah,
Right, take off or something.
talk, talk to them.
Right.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. That's a good point. Maybe that's something that should.
I think we've raised a lot of good issues here, and I think it warrants a lot more study than what we're initially set out to do here.
There's more than one
Plus,
issue. Combination of issues.
well, you got,
What can we do to make it right?
this could be,
And what that gets put on, it's the first step in mitigating the work, you know, the terrain issues. I think, so.
Yeah.
I think the only thing,
You know, what's your priority? Is your priority, look at, say, what's the thing?
let me know when you're done.
We're letting somebody. So that's.
You done?
Yeah.
Okay. I think, again, it's been a good conversation. We obviously need more study, but I think it also warrants becoming an issue in our feasibility study when we remodel or whatever we end up deciding to do with that, consider security as a part of that. So, obviously, this is gonna be old business for the next meeting and the only thing I can see that what we're getting, as I understand what we're getting, would be if somebody vandalized the building, we probably would have them on film. If we decided to write FU on the side of the building, we might be able to catch it. That hasn't been an issue, I don't think.
But if the guy's concerned, Well, someone coming to the door with a knife or gun,
Well,
that's worse than what it is.
yeah, and we got that kind of clientele next door in and out, so maybe we need to inactivate the doors on that side of the building, make it less convenient to come in there, so anyhow, well,
Good points, Tom.
yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Okay, truck bay walls, cleaning and the ceiling and,
So I had, Blue Sky, which used to be 1-800 board up. I think they come in, they won't do it and, contacted one other, and they come in and won't, they won't do it either, so. I'm still looking for somebody to come in and
okay. Moving the electrical bay, that's pending, whatever we come up with, facility study, station standby generator, we're actively getting that quoted.
yeah, so the information that, he sent to him still wasn't the right stuff, so he's gonna call. Yark, he's gonna call, ADP and see if he can get the peak.
Yeah.
None of the bills went in, but he's the generators,
Because we're not 220, we're one,
right, so, yeah,
we're 220, we're not 440
or
or something.
something, yeah, but he's,
But we're actively pursuing the generator. Recliners,
Be your Saturday.
Saturday.
and here's Saturday, parking lot repair, we got a guy looked at it. He's not worried about these dry wells out here. He thinks they're fine. He's gonna take a look at the sinkhole over here. And perhaps sealing and restriping the parking lot, give us a quote for that. Replace the service doors. And you were gonna talk to Don Carrico about that?
Yes, I've seen the pictures of everything, and he hasn't got back with, details yet.
Okay, the digital sign is done and it looks nice. It's lit up, illuminated, and the lights are on and so on and so forth, so.
I'm getting a quote for that, the Center Township, did you get a hold of him?
I sent it, I haven't heard anything.
Okay. So sign crafters that built the sign originally. That one says, Center Township Fire, all that's kind of peeling off and, he wanted pictures of our logo and stuff, and he was gonna get the price when he would do to peel that off, and put it in.
Okay, next on the list. Additional appropriations is the primary, one of the biggest reasons we came. We talked about this money that we need to appropriate. We presented it at the last meeting. So, and it was advertised in the paper that we're proposing to do an additional appropriation. And I can read this, or did you copy them on?
Yeah, they've got copies.
Okay, so the first one then is for the Township Fund 0101. And you can read the whereases and the therefores. We're proposing to do an additional appropriation of totaling $70,000 in the Township Fund. Arbitrarily, we put 10,000 in supplies, 20,000 in other services and charges, and 40,000 in capital outlays. This doesn't mean we have to spend it. This is money we already have, so don't get confused that the taxes are going up. This is money that resulted from the getting out of the territory and being frugal with the taxpayer money. So I make a motion that we approve this additional appropriation for the Township Fund 0101 in the amount of $70,000.
Second.
Moved, the motion made and seconded. All in favor? I have motion carried, so we all need to sign this before we go. No, that's the advertisement. That's what was in the paper. Here's the ones we'll sign. The second one is the fire fund. Everything up at the top is the same, but this is Fund 111. Or 1111. We're proposing $100,000 additional appropriation. And arbitrarily 10,000 personal services, 10,000 supplies, 20,000 services and charges, and 60,000 capital outlays, totaling $100,000. And again, this doesn't mean we have to spend it, but we can't spend it any more than what we've already budgeted unless we do this additional appropriation. I move we go ahead and do the additional appropriation to fund 1111 in the amount of $100,000.
Second.
Motion made in second, all in favor? Aye, motion carried. And the last one is the King Fund. Everything is the same there except to count 1190.
Yeah.
In the amount of 300. Total amount of $300,000, 50,000 for other services and charges, 250 capital outlay for a total of $300,000. I move that we go ahead and approve this additional appropriation in the amount of $300,000 for account 1190. Make that motion. Dave seconded, all in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. Any questions? If there being none, we'll move on to any other old business.
So does that mean that we need to go into the budget and add these dollar amounts of those
Well,
areas?
we have to upload this into Gateway. I'll have to give you that tomorrow. I got I probably copied it before, the step-by-step procedures on doing additional appropriation. But it has to go into Gateway and it has to be approved by DLGF.
Okay.
Before we can do it, but as you recall, we basically took 50% of what we had available to do the additional appropriation. So I can't imagine how they could say we don't have the funds.
Yeah.
Okay. There being no other whole business, fire chief's report.
So we're switching all of our, Vector Solutions, crew sets to a company called First Due. Were you even been on the conference call there? You guys had one? Okay. So, we're assigning firefighters different positions on that, like, implementing the training, implementing the inspections, implementing the, timekeeping portion of it or the scheduling. And then, Chief, Zach Mark oversees the whole program. And so we're still building that. So we're still getting information. So ESO, which, we do all of our running code and stuff. They're supposed to be putting all of our old information on a file and sending it to them so that they can download that and then start using that for doing a record.
Now, is this our disciplinary system and all that is this part of this or?
No,
is
so
this-
that's different. That would be the, the firewall. That's separate. That's the only thing that's separate. Everything else is going to this one system. Because right now we're paying like 4 or 5 different platforms to manage everything. This will put everything, inventory of all of our equipment, training, inspections, pre-planning, our scheduling, all of that will be under one platform moving forward.
Is there any issue with ESO? What we have or have to take them as far as?
That's taken care of.
Okay.
Yes, I sent him an email, explained what was going on and said they were good, we were done, and they were gonna put it on, what they call back file. Send that to all our.
So you'll be able to get the export of everything?
BA.
So he called it back file, but
And that'll go to First Due.
then what they do is they take our old data, upload it, so that way we lose no data.
Well, either I dreamt it or something that they weren't supporting us anymore because we didn't pay our bill and
Well, that's the way Zach had told us. And that's why I was asking, but we didn't renew the maintenance or service contract with ESO
Right.
because we paid for First Due.
And I emailed them a couple times, finally I had to physically call them and explain to them what we were doing, and they understood what I'm paying. So we owe them nothing.
so step by step, we're using switching to the First Due or
Correct.
we're doing no entries or nothing with the ESO any longer.
We're still doing entries with ESO until everything's moved over and the guys get trained.
Great.
We had, any more questions on the first move?
What's the projected completion on all?
He was hoping by the end of June.
Like when?
End of June.
Hopefully it's June. Everything up to speed and running. But 79 runs in May, 470 runs year to date. We're averaging about 3 runs a day. I did the breakdown today. 261 of those calls were in Center Township. 50 of those were mutual aid to Penn. 95 of those calls were in Green. 23 to Lakeville. 1 to Madison, 1 to New Carlisle, 1 to North Liberty. 3 to South Bend. And 8 to St. Joe County Fire Territory. That's, and those numbers are year-to-date numbers.
Or what was the total again?
Year-to-date, 470.
That's through,
Today. And we had 79 runs in May.
Fire territory consisting of,
That's St. Joe County Fire Territory, that's Portage and Warren.
Portage.
Firewall, Lexipol, I mentioned it before. We got our bill for the year, and it's $10,000 for our policies and procedures. So, we end up downloading all of that information, taking Southwest Central Fire off and adding Center Fire to it. So we have those policies we're using, plus this fire law best practices. They're out of Syracuse, New York. And every month they send us new updated policies and procedures. So we're working on getting those worded with Center Township and then implemented. Yeah, that 1,500 compared to the 10,000.
So does every firefighter get that?
I get it. And then myself and firefighter Brian Miller, I send him to him and he goes through, he's looking at it to make sure that they meet what we need for our usage.
So then eventually the mindset is to have everybody have the policies and procedures for themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, ultimately, not to interrupt, but ultimately it'll end up on the department internal website.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's.
Sure, I have access to it electronically. Equipment maintenance. Equipment maintenance, today we sent both brush trucks, the Tahoe and my truck across the street to Styles. They service them, rotated tires. Got, so annual oil changes and stuff, I think you're done. You know, take care of all of that. You know, it's a back.
they give us a break.
I don't know, so I hope so. Yeah, keep it off the street.
I mean, you could say, hey, we got these, and these. You got nothing going on today, you can show your,
Already did it. Yep. I got a copy and I got their copy. So, we're good on that. Somebody taught me that. Any other equipment issues you can think of, maintenance wise? Okay. Personnel issues, I'll jump ahead to G to Chris Haggerty hearing. Chris Haggerty had some issues off duty. He's currently on administrative leave. He was one of our battalion chiefs.
unpaid,
What's that?
unpaid.
Right, unpaid administrative leave. So, we temporarily promoted Bobby Lindrum, the battalion chief, to fill that spot. Bobby being a captain, we promoted Tony Lawrence to captain. And we're in the process of hiring a new firefighter to fill the vacant spot. Moving down, that ties into the second one, or F, their application, the vetting. We're testing this weekend, Andy.
Yeah, that's,
So this Saturday, we're doing written tests for the applicants we got, 21. So if everybody shows up, we have 21 applicants,
21.
21. So,
Now, will it be an agility test or something?
yeah, that'll be done after we grade the test and then we down. So.
Yeah.
So that's an ongoing process till we build up our list again. There is really to say about Chris hearing it got. I don't know what the word I want to use,
Oh, continuance, I mean,
yeah, so,
this will drag on for, could be a year.
I have to pay all his health insurance. Because we want.
Well, also, there was something you got a call from, was it his ex-wife?
his ex-wife, she's willing to pay the 25% portion to keep the kids on the insurance.
We would be responsible. For about 13 a month. What would be the spot now, but he has spent all and had Leslie take out. So that is great.
So we're working on the medical insurance portion of his issue, I guess, lack of a better word. So, the sign up front, it wasn't lighting up, so, we got some quotes to get it fixed. Michiana contractors come in, board a new wire, we had a broken wire somewhere between the box and the sign. They ran the wiring, for me to come in, put in LED lights, got everything wired up, and that's working now. On that same, project, they fixed the exterior lights. So, and everything's on the timer, so all of that's working good now.
It looks nice when you come down the road down.
Good. And we'd already talked about the capital needs.
Yep.
Stairway treads. Tread was tearing off, so firefighters took it upon themselves to clean all those off, replace them. Unfortunately, we got cheap material and they're cracking and falling apart already. They did a beautiful job of installing. There wasn't anything they did wrong, it was just really cheap material. So anyway, with that being said, sharp floor coverings. He's gonna come in and redo the stairs for us. We're just waiting on the material to come in.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, $1,877.88.
yeah, I got. There. Okay,
Grants, talked to, Keith and Judy briefly today. I need a letter on township letterhead stating that we've moved out of the territory and they're staying alone. Because we're up against that stupid wall again with our name change. So we have to get everything switched over to Center Township, so let's get that out. Hopefully I can get all the information over to Center Township.
so that's what we're gonna use, Center Township, not Center Township Fire or.
But yeah, be Center Township Fire for the grants.
Okay, yeah, Center Township Fire Department.
Correct.
Did anybody look at that sign current thing? I'm almost forgetting what that was. That was some kind of a software program or something that tells you what grants are out there and available.
I like that.
I've not looked it up myself, so. Anything else?
We still have that one gentleman that looks
Yeah.
up all the grants for us.
Yeah, Brian,
I just think that would take the burden off of you.
Well, I was just asking if that guy is aware of this occurrence.
I'm sure he is. I'll ask you, but I'll listen up as well. On the capital needs page, there is an engine or tanker, on there. Hoosier Fire from Valparaiso, they're currently having a demo engine built right now. The salesman was in today just to get a little more information from us. He hasn't given me a solid price, but fire engines now are going for $1 million plus. He's thinking this truck will be about 700,000. So, and the guys have looked at the prints, they looked at the spec, it would meet our needs. That's the way we want to go. Just putting that out there.
Well, do we know it's gonna take 3 years to get it built?
No, it's gonna be done in the spring. It's gonna be done in the spring of 2026. They're building it now,
Oh,
or getting ready to. It's in the lineup.
so if we were interested, what would it cost? Do we have to give them a down payment or what?
He's still working on all that information, so
Is that a standard production build or is that a specified build?
it's a specification that Hoosier Fire put together. But like I said, we had the print of the truck and the whole spec sheet. I think everybody thought it would meet what we do.
So the firemen actually able to see it.
Yeah, the spec sheet and everything, yeah,
What do you mean?
these two. Like I said, I get,
Really, the ladder truck sold the ladder, which was an engine.
yeah, we were using that as an engine basically, but. So engine 42 is our backup engine, old engine 41 is, I say it's for sale. I got 2 more inquiries, but I called them, sent them emails with answering their questions. I haven't heard back from them, so I'll be calling them tomorrow to follow up and see if they have any more questions.
That's the one with the frame issue.
Yeah, the one department out of Ohio come looked at it and they said the frame was bad and there's been older, so. That's due to obviously the salt and all that stuff that's pricey.
Can I get a copy of these?
For that, yeah, the truck, absolutely.
I got them in my truck.
What's that?
You gave me, well, he's your, I guess, you got them. Good one.
Yeah.
You gave me a copy.
Oh, did I?
I happened to be walk in here
Oh,
and the
okay.
guy was sitting there and he said, anything else?
Nothing I think of.
Any other questions for the chief? Report from others, union rep,
Just gotta send them hundreds.
when are you ready?
Friday.
Friday? That's, yeah. So that's the discussion I want to have. Yeah, okay, so what, you want to do it here?
Yeah, Friday, you're gonna be done. Fine.
Okay, what time?
I'll be here all day.
Oh, okay. All right.
Is that a quorum kind of situation or? No?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I suppose we'd have to advertise that tomorrow. Can we,
I would read and sign it now and then just sign it on Friday.
well, we still have the sticking issue,
What?
the issue with, 4 men versus 5 men, et cetera, et cetera. That was the holdup.
Yeah, I had to explain to you guys that the whole agreement's consent.
We said we would sign it if we could backfill with an on-call when you're short, rather than going through the.
Yeah,
we sat down and talked to it last time, yeah, we had that drove down with it, got it figured out.
Let's meet Friday, you, me and the three of us. That won't be a quorum, and then make sure a lot of water's gone over the dams. So let's talk about it one more time Friday. All right, report from others, IT, how's the streaming thing work? I was happy with it. Are we ready to officially adopt?
It's up to you guys. I'm gonna show you, this is, I borrowed this from Critchlow.
Oh, that's the owl.
That's the owl. That's a lousy place for it to sit because I don't wanna be on the. I'm thinking but the nice thing about it is you talk, it starts looking for whoever's talking. It's better than that static camera. Up to you guys. I think I emailed everybody on the board with, kind of what the going prices are for things like this. And cheaper versions of it that accomplish kind of the same thing. This is also being broadcast on YouTube at this moment. So we've got a live broadcast going. Right now it's just showing the agenda and it was showing all of the different items as we talked about them. I need to go in here. This is the first time I've done this, so I've learned a little bit on how to operate Teams and YouTube. They don't like to talk to each other without a third party. Anyway, it's up to you guys. This is just an example of what the owl can do. I'd probably put it in the middle here somewhere so that it gets the board and then any of the public and IT nerds out
Was
of
it
the way.
panning to the public earlier?
Yes, yeah. In fact, if you can kind of see it, that's your public. And if somebody started talking loud enough, it would start to gravitate in that direction and become
A bigger
one of
picture?
these. Yeah. I sent it to you. It's around $1,000. Maybe $750. I can't remember, to be honest with you. I did send you an email about it, shortly after last month's meeting. But, there are cheaper versions of it that would probably accomplish what we want to do, but it's up to you guys. I just wanted you to be able to see what it did, so I borrowed it from Jason.
Tom, I think that guy. That's good, I think you recommend that.
Yeah,
Yeah, Everwise is.
never came back.
I think we've got 4 of them at Everwise. And, so they do the job. We use them for our weekly.
I guess we go ahead and get it.
Okay, I'll get the quotes. Is it gonna go, do you want to go through a certain vendor? We can get them on Amazon, but I didn't know if you wanted to try and,
Well, that one, web thing that we set through, supposedly, the state has some discounting.
I have a hunch by the time we got through doing all that, we'd be,
I'm not
I'm for
disagreeing.
getting things done. So I move we go ahead and get the owl and fully implement what we need to do to, record meetings and
so right now we are live with the owl. So this is YouTube.
But, Chris, is that?
Yes.
It's doing both.
Yeah, it's actually recording 2 different places. Microsoft Teams is recording it and YouTube is recording.
That's pretty handy.
So,
and the state decided that starting the end of July or beginning of July, we have to record and broadcast our meetings.
yeah, I don't think they have to be technically live streamed, but they do have to be somewhere where they're publicly accessible for 90 days?
Yeah.
The other part of it, and I'll be honest, I forget the wording on it. Keith, I don't know if you remember, but I think we also have to have any, like the agenda and those types of things also available in a link or not.
All 10.
Okay, I hope not, but I mean, it's doable, certainly. But I know Warren Township, I'm gonna be out there on Thursday. They're having their board meeting and I'm gonna help them start getting this set up And, their website was put together with the purpose of being able to upload minutes and meetings and things, so.
Well, Jason's already using this. Isn't that part of Warren, part of their territory?
No. No, Warren Township,
Oh, the township.
yeah, Bobby K,
Oh, the township meetings?
Yeah. for the
Oh, no.
township. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
They're not,
No.
they still gotta have two meetings.
Right.
Territory and, township.
in township,
Do they require territory to do it too?
don't know, I think it's just the
I
township.
don't. It's the actual governmental
Yeah.
entity, which is the township.
However,
That's a great question.
Portage Township is a provider unit, and so. Don't
They
they,
do those things.
Yeah, they do.
They,
Yeah, they stream it on YouTube and he's got a pretty slick operation. I
so he doesn't include,
don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
well,
That you're asking,
we got our own problems. I'm not worried about it.
You mean you're wondering whether his township meeting also includes a territory meeting?
or if they're recording both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? I think we covered a lot of ground and, as soon as we can start getting quotes in earnest and move forward on the capital list and, I will show you or whatever, bring that, what we have to do next with the additional appropriations. Yes,
This may be in the wrong time to meeting, start this. Has there ever been any consideration given to digitizing what historical records are left by the Center Township Fire Department?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, I don't mean to jump in, but, Cody's done a great job of organizing a lot of all of that material.
I've talked with Cody.
The intent is to try and get it digitized as to the best degree possible.
I know that a lot of records have been discarded,
Right.
done away with. A lot of the old photographs have been thrown out, trophies.
Whatever still exists, we want to get stored in a way that it can be archived and organized. It's a bit of a feat to do it.
I understand it's a time consuming deal.
Yeah.
And you gotta know your way around the computer.
But anything that hasn't been tossed yet that we have obviously can't get back,
Right.
he's done a great job of getting it all stored safely and organized so that we can go through.
I kind of think, I don't know how you feel, Tom, but I kind of think that's an important thing, part of this department. Part of this township. You know, when this township was started, guys took trucks home with them until the building was built.
Yeah.
You know, and had a historical record of all the members of this fire department that can be accumulated.
Yeah, we want to get it on the website so
Is
that
it
it's,
stored in OneDrive now?
I'm sorry, what?
Stored in the OneDrive?
Not the archives they're referring to, no. I mean, they're talking about the photos and the minutes and the,
I know you said you're storing.
oh, yeah, no, I'm sorry, like totes full of stuff.
really.
Yeah, I mean, the plastic totes with sealed and, yeah, it was fun going through it when we were putting the new website together and kind of doing the about us stuff, because he had it organized in such a way you could just write the story from 1947 on and, to when they built the station in 48. So it's a lot of great stuff. But you're right, a lot of it's gone, or somebody has it.
I have working on getting photos, digitized and put on the website. I know we've talked about that before.
It's gonna take a while.
So
Yeah, it's gonna take some time, sure.
Oh, yeah, it's not lost ground. Working on
it's too voluminous to send one of the services.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that'd be $10,000.
Trophies being thrown away. I mean, we tried,
That was years ago, many years ago.
I mean, we built shelves and everything up there. We tried to keep them.
It was back before they did the renovation on it. It's been
Right.
a long time.
All the fireball
Yeah.
contests you used to have. What's actually water ball? Water ball.
Fireball was too dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played a lot of water ball in my day.
Fireballs, what they throw in my ditch all winter long.
But Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to say that.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up. I just was a kid driving by the fire station and Dave's dad was trustee back, I think, when this was built. Okay, anything else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
I'll second. All in favor? Motion carried. The next meeting is, July 8th. Same time, same place. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, so.